Yeah, Coach, going down there, we talked Saturday, but just the performance you guys had after falling behind early in that game, what do you see from the way your team fought back in that one?
Exactly what you said. They're fighters. It was encouraging from a head coach and our staff's perspective because it's the second time now we've fell behind like that in Mankato. We didn't bounce back as fast as I would have liked to. And in this game, I just saw a lot of composure. You don't ever want those situations to come up, but when they do come up, you kind of analyze and look around. And like Parker and the guy, they're so calm, during it. They trust one another, I think, really well. So there's not a sense of panic, in anything. And our coaches were the same way. And so we made a couple adjustments and try and hold on to the ball a little better. And I think we gave ourselves a good chance to win there. But we had to. I think one thing the staff's done a great job of is making adjustments when things aren't quite what we thought they'd be, and that happened Saturday. So it went from what we thought might be we're going to throw the ball all over the yard to we're going to run it all over the yard, and neither were playing, but it was good to see them happen.
Coach, you're leading the league in rushing, and after looking at the film, what did you see from the offensive line? I mean, you rushed for 358 yards, and just running all over the place.
It was their best game. I thought, our tight ends really had a really good game, and that's something that we've been working hard with that group because they're all new. None of them played, and they got physical that game, and our O-line flew around, and so we played, 8 different linemen and 4 different tight ends, and I thought what we saw as the second half came along was they wore down, and we were able to stay on the field, and our guys were a little more fresh, and that was the most physical game they had. So it was fun to see them fly around and just see themselves taking pride in hitting somebody and just saying, okay, I can do this, and they did it. And then the backs did a great job, but there were big holes, and it was fun for them to do that.
Parker, 32 points probably isn't fair to how the defense performed in that game. 14 points early, one late touchdown. But what do you see from your unit in the middle portions of that game to hold them to 11 for the most part in that thing?
I mean, I think it was just we really executed the game plan we got. Obviously, first half, they got 2 little stutter and goes on us. So, that's just tough. We went to the sideline, got that fixed, and then I think the rest of the way we just pounded the rock, got in the fist fight, and just kept going.
Parker, all things considered after Saturday, you're still second in the MIAA in total defense. So, how much do you guys take pride in that, and what's kind of worked for this unit this year up to this point?
We're just having fun. That's really the big thing. We have a lot of trust in our guys. Everyone knows that they're going to do their job, and I think that's just the big thing for us.
Coach, Hayes coming up this week. Their record probably doesn't indicate how good of a team they are with the schedule they played, but what are you seeing from what Hayes has going right now? And they obviously took a tough loss to UCO this past week.
Yeah. What
are you seeing from them?
I see us and them. I think we're similar teams. I think Coach Brown wants a physical team. It's not a finesse guy, and their offense and defense reflect that. And it's something that we're trying to do the same thing, just play physical football, win the line of scrimmage, and, see how things fall. And they beat Pueblo, who was a top 5 team when they played. And they've had, you lose to Pitt State, you lose to UCO. Those are all, preseason favorites to win the conference, along with Fort Hays. So they're a team that's dangerous. Their backs are against the wall, and I'm just encouraged that we have the seniors that we have. I thought we had our best practice Monday that we've had all year, and the kids are just, you can tell interviewing Parker, he's serious all the time. That's how they practice, So it's refreshing, but we'll have to have an A game for sure to hang with them, and we'll see what we can do this week to get there, but we'll have to play good football to top them.
You mentioned physical. Their quarterback's probably among the most physical you'll see. I know you saw those guys up at Mankato, and they run the ball hard from the quarterback spot too. But what challenges does Hebner present out there?
Yeah, he's just seasons. He's played a lot of football, but anytime you add an 11th guy to the arsenal, most times when you hand off a football, then it's 10 on 11. But it adds another gap, especially when he's as physical as he is. The exciting part for me is our defense is. They match up well, and they play physical, and they take pride in that. they're modest. Their defense is playing well. Half the time, the offense has put them in some bad spots. Where they get a touchdown and when they shouldn't have. And even right before half, I thought one of the big things they did was we had a 4-point play where they had to kick a field goal, instead of a touchdown, and that kept some momentum. So we'll have to do a lot of that same this week because going back to your original question with the quarterbacks, it's just like with the quarterback run game. When Zeke can do some things or Chris can do some things, that adds a whole another element that you got to prepare for. So it just gives that opportunity when you got everything stopped except for the run, and they scramble, or if it's 3rd and 2 and they just lean on you, that's when they make a difference. So hopefully we hit them enough early and can get them in some, stay behind the chains and have some success with that.
Coach Z has been so good for you guys week by week by week. Talked about his progression up to this point in the year, and he's getting a lot better.
Yeah, he's growing up in front of our in front of our eyes because he's a puppy. He's a very talented puppy, but he's you have to have that growth. And what's been kind of unique is those QBs kind of play off one another, and when one doesn't have their A game, the other one seems to have an A game. And go back to UCO. Z didn't have his A game, and Chris really had a good game. But the thing about Z is he's always expects to have a great day and expects to have a great play, and he's starting to understand how to prepare, how to get ready for a game. On the bus ride home, he was watching Hayes. I just glanced over, and he's watching Hayes the whole time. And, it was like a proud papa moment. I'm like, okay, all right, that's yay. It's good. So it's refreshing. Same reason, just add something else for a D coordinator to have to prepare for, and and how they want to attack us, and it just helped. Quarterback draw was a part of the offense. That I thought we'd run a couple times, and 100 and some yards later, we ran it a lot. But that's what it took.
Parker, just Coach talk about the physicality Hayes brings to the table. As a defensive guy, as a front seven guy, I'm sure that's music to your ears. Just how exciting is it when you have a team coming in that's gonna try to out physical you guys and come right at you guys?
Oh yeah, that's what our defense is built for, which is the good thing. We're not just straight up built for passing or anything. We establish our run defense. That's for sure the first thing that we do. So it'll be a good game. I'm excited about it.
He says he's excited, but he hasn't practiced.
Coach, you talked about the offensive line and then paving the way 350 yards, but they've also have not given up hardly any sacks on the season. How important is that from a quarterback standpoint too, knowing that you're not getting a whole lot of pressure on your guys?
Yeah.
You're able to do things you want to do.
It's very important, to have that, security blanket to say I can drop back and know that I'm going to be protected. We spend a lot of time working on blitz pickup, protections, and then also the quarterback understanding what time is like. We have an air horn at every practice that, any drill we're doing passing, they got 2.5. That air horn goes off, and if that ball's not out of your hands, bad things can happen. After that, it's just not meant to hold up that long. So, it's been really encouraging that they've, Coach Prosser's done a great job with them of understanding, where the threats are from, how to slide the protections, how to change them, who our threats are, and the same thing with the quarterbacks. They're making those, checks at the line of scrimmage. And then, the run game is, again, it's like, this was a fun game to watch. Like, we show little highlights after the game to offense and defense, and this is by far the most highlights of, our O-line on there of, really, getting on people, and putting them in the ground and playing a certain way. And that's been fun to watch and just see them grow and say, okay, we can do this, and that's the expectation. It doesn't always happen, but Coach Prosser's put that in their mind, and now they're coming to kind of expect it. And when it doesn't happen, they want to figure out what they can do to make it happen. And so that's a group that's really progressing really well right now, and it's every game they've gotten better. And it started in the spring when we talked about it. I thought that was the group that improved the most. And between the two O and D lines, if those groups play well, I think we've got a good chance in any game we play.
Parker, how excited are you to be home?
Oh, I'm excited.
Some excitement in it.
There's a smile.
I'm excited. Yeah, we haven't gotten too many, chances yet at home. So
Doesn't seem like it, does it?
No, it doesn't. It feels like we've been on the road the whole time. So I'm really pumped about it. Yeah.